Hello everyone, and welcome to The Haunted World. I'm your host, Mason DeHaan, and today we're going to talk about the paranormal occurrences surrounding the 1976 supernatural horror film, The Omen. I'm going to tell you about the plot, but then I'm going to tell you about the things that happened during the filming or around the filming of this horror movie. I do want to give a trigger warning of infant death and suicide, as well as a spoiler alert. A quick summary of the plot is that American diplomat Robert adopts a new son, Damien, after his wife Catherine delivers a stillborn baby. After Damien's first nanny hangs herself, Robert is warned that Damien may try to kill Catherine's next child, which does occur. Catherine becomes pregnant again, Damien pushes her off a balcony and kills the unborn child. And eventually, Robert is made aware that Damien may be the Antichrist. Things get wild from there, but maybe not as wild as the things that were happening behind the camera. Like I said, though, this episode is not just to talk about the plot, it's to talk about the paranormal possible occurrences that happened during and around the creation of this movie, whether it be with actors, whether it be on set. A lot of people do consider The Omen to be the most cursed film set on history, and after reading this, I might agree. First off, after the filming, one of the special effects artists was driving. He was a driver, he had a passenger down a road late at night. He was in a car accident, and he just was knocked unconscious, but his passenger was decapitated. Decapitation is always creepy, but the special effects artist did note it was very similar to a death in The Omen. Animals are always considered to be part of the supernatural world, whether it be dogs noticing maybe the paranormal, cats being somewhat spiritual, but they're always important to note, and this case is no different. One of the scenes in The Omen is a group of baboons chasing Damien and his mother, Catherine. This was done with the help of a baboon trainer. Of course, they wanted to do it safely, but the day after filming with those baboons, that trainer was killed by a tiger. And here's a quote about what happened. He was killed the day after we shot there. He was killed by a tiger. He grabbed him by the head and killed him instantly. That's a quote by producer Harvey Bernhard. I don't know about you, but that's really creepy, especially a day after helping film The Omen. That's not the only other animal occurrence, though. In one of the scenes is Robert, the lead, going to the house and being attacked by a Rottweiler. Of course, you can't have actors attacked by real Rottweilers, so they use a stuntman during the filming of this. That Rottweiler was trained to do it in a safe environment. The stuntman had padding and he was ready to be attacked, but the dog did not listen to his trainer and kept biting past when he was supposed to. He got through the material that was supposed to be protective of the stuntman and left some serious injury. Luckily, that stuntman did survive, but scary and intense nonetheless. Animals are a part of nature, but another part of nature is Mother Nature, different natural occurrences, and what better to show a curse, God's wrath, than lightning? And there has been some lightning curse-related things among this movie, 3 of them to be in fact. While Robert the lead, who was actually played by Gregory Peck, was flying over the Atlantic, his plane was struck by lightning and one of the engines blew out. They almost crashed in the Atlantic, they survived. Crazy coincidence, right? Or is it? 2 other set members, a producer and a screenwriter, both had their planes struck by lightning. Crazy coincidence? Maybe. Or is it the Omen film curse? Other than lightning, the other planes involved with this movie did not have much luck at all. The film had hired a small local flight crew to film some aerial shots for the movie. This flight crew, they got involved in a different movie and told the Omen they would film later that day. While that small plane was on the other set right before the Omen, that plane crashed. Allegedly flew into a flock of birds, crashed into a fence, and hit a car. The deaths behind that are not consistent, and there's no actual confirmed number, but it was a fatal crash for some, and they were just about to go to the Omen. Accidents aside, something very sad did happen 2 months before the filming. George Peck, he had a son, and that son did commit suicide 2 months before this movie started. Some will attribute it to the movie. It could potentially be part of the curse, but more realistically, he was suffering. As a side note, if you are suffering, please feel free to reach out to me or someone that needs help. As much as you can correlate this with the curse, it's a very common thing to feel that way, and it's okay. It's just good to get help. So, side point, but part of the curse could have been a suicide prior to The Omen. It is to be noted that this film was said that it could have been cursed from the start by the creator and the person that pitched the idea, Robert Munger. And he has a quote here. He says, "If the devil's greatest single weapon is to be invisible, and you're going to do something which is going to take away his invisibility to millions of people, he's not going to want that to happen." He was wary of it. He thought there could be bad things that happens with it, and he may, he kind of was right. One of the stuntmen, after he finished filming his scenes for The Omen, he helped with some stunts. He was on his next project where he was going to fall off a building. Unfortunately for him, he fell off the building during the stunt, and instead of hitting the safe landing pad, he hit the ground. He had claimed he was pushed. It was a serious accident. He survived, but it could be correlated with him leaving The Omen. As scary as all these things just mentioned be, and as much as they could be attributed to the curse of The Omen, they could also be coincidental. It's not really for me to decide, it's for you to decide and think about yourself. I can't speak fact, I can speak that there's a lot of crazy coincidences. It's really creepy. I think it's fascinating seeing what all happened behind a horror movie set. There's plenty of other things that have happened that I'd like to go over in the future, such as the Twilight Zone, such as Poltergeist, and I will hopefully do so, but I hope you found it interesting seeing the crazy occurrences, and maybe there is the Omen curse. Horror is such a fun genre. It brings so much joy into people's lives, seeing the jump scares and everything, but it's important to ask the question, is real life scarier than horror? Thank you for watching the first episode of The Haunted World. I look forward to seeing you soon, whenever that is, in which maybe we'll talk about some more of these. So thank you very much. Stay haunted, people.